Welcome, you and to another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast, where we talk about, say it with me, Latino, everything. Thank you very much for being here, taking the time to checking out our channel and this episode. Since you're already here, do us a favor, go ahead and subscribe, hit the subscription notification, leave us a message, leave us a comment. We appreciate it very much. All the options that are out there on the interweb, you chose to click on this channel. We appreciate it. So join us on the journey, the community of the Global Latin Factor. Thank you very much. Today, we have an amazing episode because we have a fire fan performer, dancer, model, actress, director, spiritual healer, promoter, event coordinator, and inspiring motivational speaker. She was born here in Dallas, Texas. We have Emma, a.k.a. Badbone.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing today?
I'm alive. I'm blessed. I'm here. I'm
That's
excited.
awesome. It is true. We are still kicking it.
Yes.
Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time. All right. So we're going to go ahead and continue this with a segment that I like to call Preguntas al Chile. If you have not seen the graphics, so Preguntas al Chile, and I hope Carlos cues up the Preguntas al Chile. And go ahead and subscribe so you can see the beautiful graphics Carlos put together, so that way you can know what this is all about. ¿Estás lista? Are you ready? Are you
Let's
sure?
go.
Tacos o tortas?
Tacos.
Corn tortilla or flour tortilla?
Corn tortilla.
Yeah. Like that. Gorditas or sopes?
Sopes.
Sopes, yeah. Mexican coca or jarrito?
Oh my God. Jarrito.
Which flavor though?
Mandarin.
Mandarin,
Sí.
like that too.
Mhm.
Agua de horchata, jamaica, or tamarindo?
Horchata.
Horchata.
Sí.
We have salsa verde, salsa roja. Do you like spicy?
Oh, I love spicy,
Yeah.
but it's a green.
Green? Yeah, me too. Team salsa verde all day, every day, baby. Valentina, churros or flan?
Oh, because I'll tear both of them up.
Yeah.
Coin flip.
Same. You'll take what? No, you can't make a decision on this. You don't have to, but it's equally good for you.
Man, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. Valentina, tapatio, cholula, or Tabasco sauce. Hot sauce.
Oh, man. Okay, so I'm a sucker for Valentina
Yeah.
and
The
Tabasco.
black label.
Yes.
Yeah, the spicy.
And Tabasco.
Tabasco.
But it depends on my Tabasco, though. Depends, yeah.
Because they have different flavors too. You like the original one, or depends on what depends on that?
I usually go for the original one,
Yeah.
but the green one, the original one.
I like the they have a chipotle version.
They have, you know what?
Yeah.
Okay, I
It's
wasn't.
pretty good. I liked it. At least I was surprisingly, it was tasty. It's for me.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to check that one out.
Yeah.
Okay.
They do so. And okay, so conchitas, the conchita breads, you like the brown ones, the white ones, or the pink ones?
Oh, the white ones.
The white ones.
Yes.
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 A conspiracy theory, we're going to go into a different way. A conspiracy theory that you can almost guarantee when you heard it, like, that has to be true. Can you think of one?
Yeah. Well, I can think of many different ones, but I believe in aliens.
Yeah.
But as much as I believe in aliens, I believe there's a whole civilization underwater.
Here or in another planet?
Why not everywhere?
Yeah.
Why not everywhere?
There's been, so I saw this video on TikTok, of course, that there was a lake under an ocean, and the guy that discovered shortly after his life ended, or his life was discontinued, but after he had found it.
Oh.
So why was there a lake under it? And I didn't understand that. Maybe it was like a salt water, and then all of a sudden they found fresh water at a certain level. So I was like, that's a little strange.
Did he like just pass away, or did he go missing?
Shortly after he discovered, he was discontinued from this place.
No terminaron. Wow.
So I mean, I think conspiracy theories they're fun to think about, but I think some of them, that's why I asked. Some of them you'll be like, no way that's not real. Like it has to be like every story begins with like an origin, right? And that origin had something, and eventually, once people carry over the story, it loses its meaning. But in the beginning, it was something. That's how it came to be. And I think some of those conspiracy theories begin with something, and then of course it gets diluted, passed on. But there's something still deep in the origin of whatever that story might be. I feel like.
I agree.
Okay, and what do you think? What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear Latino or Latina or Latinx? What first comes to mind?
History, a lot, roots, generations, traditions. Now I'm gonna be flat out honest. I'm not so knowledgeable,
Yeah.
but la cultura, el orgullo, now I really don't like to. Now I'm gonna be talking in both Spanish and English, okay, guys? So bear with me.
English.
Ándale.
So good.
I really don't like the whole, like, ¿cómo te puedo explicar? La separación entre las razas y todo eso, honestamente, no. Para mí no es algo, porque yo siento que todos nosotros, no es, our lineage goes down way more than we will ever know.
Yeah.
And I feel like we all carry something very valuable from it.
I know what you mean though, because like labels, and then the labels itself, within the labels, it kind of separates people, and it gives you that, I'm this and you're not this, you're that. So we shouldn't be intermingling or intertwining, not to mention like generations of things that happen that carried is within you. Then of course it's more than that,
Yeah, I feel like I'm not a fan of the whole separation, the labels, you're this, you're that. No, I feel like we are all one. Now, what we may have experienced because of what they told us, this is what you are, is like, okay, like that's part of their plan.
Yeah.
Now it's up to us to receive that and really hold it to our, like, okay, this is what I am, and pa. I'm like, no, like, todos nosotros somos humanos, todos nosotros somos unos, and then, my belief system, I don't have to implement it into y'all's, but, we don't know how many lives we have lived. We don't know how many other races we have been. We don't, we have it all. We are everything, and we are all one at the end of the day. So
you're talking more in the spiritual sense as far as reincarnation and living lives is something that you believe in, that you feel like it's possible. That's a thing.
That, yes, and that, in my perspective, that comes with our avatar and what we happen to have been born into.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, so I feel like that's true because, okay, so we always forget that supposedly human beings have been here. The modern human being have been here over 200 to 300,000 years only. Within those time frames, from the beginning of whatever was the first ones and began to, have kids and carry over, how many places we've been that we have been have been Asian, have been African, have been European, have been Native, and there's been a lot. So I don't know, maybe on the sense that you're thinking about, but me, it's like, it makes sense that we've been different things in different places. And that's the reason why I feel like sometimes when you run into a double ganger or whatever it's called, like somebody that looks like you, that is really close to you, or looks like almost identical to you, it makes sense, right? Because he might be your cousin, your distant relative from many years ago.
Or it might be a clone.
That's another thing. That's another
I believe in clones.
Oh, I know there is out there.
Yeah.
The talk about the talk about cloning back in the 90s was very like the little sheep that they cloned and that was alive and made it to where all of a sudden it went ghost. Like if you search online, there's really not a lot you can find about cloning. So you mean that we just discovered the technology of how to clone something, but all of a sudden now we don't want to use it anymore. That
Oh,
I don't feel like that's what happens.
oh no, lo tienen muy debajo del agua.
Yeah, I feel it too. I feel that too. And so with that, so you don't really feel like for you labeling, like you don't like to be considered Latina, called Latina. What do you prefer to call you?
I mean, I call myself a metahuman, but I'm just as human as you are. You know, now, obviamente si me dicen, oh, eres Latina o hispana, no lo voy a negar. Yeah. But personally, I'm human just like you are. I'm no different than you are. You know, I am breathing just like you are. I have feelings just like you are. It's just, that's my perspective. That's the way I see things.
I got you. All right, so let's start this. So you were born here in Dallas, Texas. Are you first generation Mexicana? You're from Mexican roots, right?
So my mother, she's half Mexican and half Spaniard, and my dad's Salvadoran.
Salvadoran.
Yeah.
And do you know their journey? How did they make it to Dallas or the Dallas area? Was that where they landed first?
Yes, they landed here in Dallas, but they met here in Dallas. They didn't meet elsewhere. I really don't know how my mom came over here, but my dad, he told me that it was a long journey, that cuando cruzó el río,
when he crossed the river?
Yeah, he stumbled up, upon, he's seen some stuff. You can just say that.
Yeah, like people that didn't make it, they got stuck in the path and things like that. I mean, I was illegal. I crossed illegally when I'm a citizen now, but I crossed over too. I was a kid, but I didn't realize all the stuff all the dangers and stuff like that. I didn't get to see all those things because our path was different. It was more of a handoff to this lady, and this lady crossed us over this. It was more like it was more like a bank. It was already concrete, and we crossed over on top of the inner tube, and they pulled us over. We went under a fence. We ran into a restaurant, making sure that the migra wasn't coming to get us. We waited there for a little bit, and then we took a taxi or a car to a hotel. We waited there, and when we flew to the airport here in Dallas. That's how we got here. With her people, we were supposedly her kids, and they were using their documentation to get us to.
Wow. Okay.
That's how we got here.
Wow.
Yeah. So I can only imagine people like my mom had to go through the journey of crossing and going through the border and having to see all those tough things, because they even got her and my uncle crossed together because my dad was already here, and they got robbed. And luckily that was the end of it, right? They just got robbed and they got caught and they got sent back, but they attempted again and they finally made it. But I can only imagine certain things of people that have to cross the actual desert, like your dad, or the actual places where people have to go and see the things that they have to see, because there's things that people don't talk about and people don't see over there. That's real. It's real stuff over there. Yeah.
Wow.
So he doesn't really like to talk about exactly what his journey is or anything, or you prefer not to ask him further because you know that there's something deeper there.
My dad shares what he wants to share, and that's it.
Yeah.
So he won't go deeper into details, and I won't push him, because I'm like, all right, like, si quieres que nomás sepa esto, nomás esto voy a saber.
So you sense that he doesn't want to open up more, so you just leave it alone.
Yeah, I respect that.
I do too, but I just be curious. I just be wanting to ask, depending on how you ask. Just, it'll be interesting to know the struggles and stuff, and better appreciate the things that we have here whenever you get to learn their history and how they got here. You know what I mean? At least for me.
Yeah. I mean, what I do, honestly, I just kind of focus more on what I seen of him. So I have 3 brothers and I have 2 sisters. And, it's, you know, 20 years ago, 20 years ago, I really don't know how my dad did it. I mean, he worked all the time, pero verlo trabajar tanto con tantas criaturas, it makes me, now I wonder, I'm like, lo respeto mucho because I know that he worked and worked and worked and worked. And even when he didn't, I'm pretty sure he had his days where, estaba cansado o estaba enfermo, que no sentía que podía ir al trabajo, él todavía iba. Él trabajaba, como cualquier, any other parent, raining or not. But I admire him a lot because back then the pay was so minimum.
Right.
And so many children to feed. I'm like, wow, you really managed to take care of all of us, to have us fed, to have us dressed, to buy a house, to maintain it, to me in my eyes, like I look at his, he's older now. I look at his hands, I look at his feet, and I can just, when someone, older, se le mira las manos cansadas, los pies cansados, I can just see that, and I'm just like, le tengo mucha ternura, I'm like, I love you, Dad, I appreciate you.
So now being older, you empathize with him and takes you back of what stuff did you really have to go through as far as work and everything else, knowing that you couldn't stop because you had a family to provide. And when you're there, and because I feel you on that part, because my dad worked 2 jobs sometimes, my mom worked too, and I worked and gave my money, but sometimes it was I was unappreciative because I thought I was going to get something back, but I didn't realize how bad it was. Even at that time, whenever I was giving them my money to help them out, because they were trying to feed us and put clothes and bills and other. And I, ungrateful child, I was like, okay, whatever. I mean, I hope I get something back. But at that time, I didn't realize how bad it was, how much he had to really work. And then I never see my dad or my mom take a day off. Until this day still.
But with that, I mean, I'm more, now I sit back and I reflect a lot because with my dad, because he was the only one that was really working, So with that came a lot of absence because my dad had to be working a lot. Cuando no trabajaba, pues, he would try to relax in his own way. But I felt, for him coming over here, yeah, it's definitely a lot, it's respectable. Tanto trabajar, pero con eso viene un sacrificio por mantener y tener la familia más o menos bien. So
you have mentioned in one of your articles that you, even though you were the second oldest of 6, but you had to grow up really fast. Why is that? Is that for the same reason that he was always working?
Well, part of that, mind you, I'm the second oldest. So I feel like whether you're the oldest or second oldest, you just naturally kind of have that role as a leader. It's like you see, por ejemplo, 5 hermanitos, ¿verdad? Pero uno de ellos is a leader, it's the one that puts la orden. So I love my mom, pero no respetaban mucho a mi mamá. So my mom would say this, and the children would just act wild. So my role was I would have to not discipline them, but really be on. Can I cuss?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'm just asking. I would have to really be on their asses,
That's not a cuss word.
I would have to really be on their asses. When I would have to like break them off if they would get into it. Later, as I was growing up, well, I don't want to get too personal, but I think I want to say my mom and my dad, they weren't on the best terms. You can say that. There was a lot of conflict. My dad como que llegó a un punto where he, not that he was losing it, but he just wasn't doing his role anymore. So with that being said, I just had to do a few things, just to bring some food to the table.
Was that because of, if you don't mind me asking, because, I mean, again, I think it's a thing that happens in the Latino, in the Mexican community. We have problems with addiction, alcohols, and ism and different things like that, whether we want it or not, it takes away from us doing our responsible part and to be able to do everything that we can for our kids. And it's a disease, and sometimes you can't really, as much as you want to help them, but you still have to step up to do that part because they're fighting their own battle with that.
I feel so. Like, I am not a saint. I am not a saint,
right,
to begin with. But when I was 15, I came to my breaking point where I hit my rock bottom. So when I was teen, like, I'm not gonna lie, I was a drug addict. And when I was 15, I broke the news to my parents because I was like, I'm tired of this. I had encountered a few incidents that I didn't want to relive anymore. So that's what got me to like just flat out talk to my parents and be like, hey, like, necesito ayuda. Estoy haciendo esto y es por esta razón que me rebelé, So whenever like I broke, it wasn't really mi revelación de mi adicción, pero era más mi revelación de el por qué caí yo en eso, que not everybody loves the truth, right. But the truth is the truth. Well, what can you do about it?
Right.
And my dad didn't like that truth because it interfered with someone that he loved and someone, I guess, he didn't expect something from that individual. So with that being said, like, which me and my dad, we are in a much better terms now. So I'm kind of jumping timelines. No, but good. Going back then, when I revealed, I just really felt his back turned to me. So with that being said, years would pass and my dad, I felt like my truth como que le pegó duro.
Is it okay if I kind of sort of ask you I think I know what it is? I mean, I don't want to put your business out there, but it's also a thing that happens within our community that happens. I mean, I know you're still dealing or dealt or continue to, but I see the reason why you would rebel for the reason. I'm thinking there might be some kind of abuse or something of a trustworthy person that was within, and he would feel betrayed, not to mention a little bit of him letting y'all down because he wasn't vigilant enough to see that. Mm-hmm. And he probably punished himself with substance abuse or somehow. I'm guessing, I don't know.
That was the case.
Yeah.
And I mean, but to me at that time it was really painful because I would have expected, and there we go with expectations, right? Expectations, right? But I would have expected him to, have been there for me. And I mean, I know it's tough, but some way, shape, or form, rather than him just turn his back on me. So with that being said, I went to rehab. And when I was in rehab, I was like, I snapped out of it. Era cuando me cayó el 20 que it's all a mind thing.
Yeah.
you're good. Like, you can stop at any time. And I did. But, you know, and I'm not going to lie, I escaped rehab twice just because I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be with a whole bunch of, you know, these other kids. Like,
It's a bad place. It's a terrible place. It really is. Energies and everything's all weird there, and people are having real issues. Even though I'm not saying you didn't, but there's other people that hurt bad. They have some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what it was is, you know, the third time I got tired of running away. So I called my dad. I'm like, you need to come get me because I'm going to sit here and I'm not going to move until you come and get me because I'm not going to run away. But you have to come and get me. Cuando él me agarró, haz de cuenta de ahí hasta que cumplí mis 18 años fue un desmadre total. But anyways, fast forwarding, yeah, I just got to the point that my dad there was a lot of chaos with my mom because my mom tended to hold some type of like grudge towards my dad because of everything. And then my dad and her, so it was just bad. And at that time, I had just came back to live with them because the point of it is my mom kicked me out a little bit before I was 15.
Mm-hmm.
So when she did that, it was like, okay, my dad turned his back on me. My mom kicked me out. I'm like, at this point, I have no respect for you. Because, ¿dónde están mis padres, verdad?
Right.
But fast forwarding, yeah, when I was 17, like my dad was just not doing it anymore. So
what were you living at during that time? I'm sorry, let me ask this question because I thought about it earlier. Whenever you were in rehab and you snapped out of it, what was it? Did you hear somebody? Deep thought? Were you just meditating or something and it just came to you like, hey, what are you doing?
I was just, it was more like a snap of a finger, like, what am I doing here? I'm like, am I really? But I mean, sí me sirvió para que yo analizara y recapacitara. But I was like, what am I doing here? Like, do I really need to be here? I'm like, at the end of the day, it's nothing but a choice. So it's just taking a choice at a time and just choosing not to, you know? The withdrawals was horrible. So I was like...
So the medicine wasn't helping whatever they were giving you? Or they didn't give you any medicine at that time?
No medicine.
No, just like that? Wow, I can imagine. Dang. I'm glad you're here. So that time at 17, you were just living with... Where were you living there? Where were you staying? Just
so at 15, that's when my mother kicked me out. I would stay. There's a park around there. So
So you were homeless?
I didn't know where to go. Mm-hmm. So I would go there in one of the tunnels. Like, I would sleep there, and there was a recreation center. Good thing that she kicked me out in the summer because, you know, it was the summer lunches. I'm just saying. So, cada día a las 8 de la mañana yo esperaba que abrieran las puertas, iba al baño y ahí, you know, rapidito me bañaba. And then I would wait till like 10:30 when they would serve lunch. And then I think it was like 2 where they would serve snacks.
So you did that all the way till you were 17?
No. I did that till I believe school started. And then that's whenever I just kind of would go home whenever I wanted to go to school. And then, you know, but at that point, no respect.
So they would let you in still every so often to go back, even though they had technically had kicked you out.
But I think they had realized that my respect towards them in a certain way, like, cortó desde que ellos me hicieron eso. Yeah. Cortó.
So what point do you forgive them? Because eventually you have to work that out. And even though there's a lot of hurt and you're...
You know, parents don't come with to be a parent doesn't come with a guidebook. No, it doesn't come with the guidebook.
The oldest child, and then the second oldest usually are the training people with the training manual, kind of sort of how to figure out, and then the rest of the kids kind of are better off, a little bit better,
Yeah.
usually.
But I mean, my dad, to me, more is like, okay, like being a parent doesn't come with the guidebook. My dad and I really, I've always been daddy's little girl when I was little, always. But as I grew older, yo soy la persona que te echo las verdades en tu cara. And my dad would like get so mad. He's like, I'm your father. Respect me. I'm like, I am respecting you. I'm telling you the truth. You need to hear this. So it was like bumping heads. So me and him, it was more bad times than anything. But what year? Okay, 2020. What year are we in?
23.
23.
20.
Summer of 2021, my dad and I like finally reconnected well to the point that I can say we have a good father and daughter relationship. And that's all I want. Like, the past is the past. Like, thank you, porque tal como mi madre, como mi padre, anyone that gives you an experience, whether it's good or bad, son tus maestros. Te enseñan. So, todo lo que yo aprendí o lo que tuve que aprender en ese entonces me sirve. Me sirve y me ha moldeado a esta persona que tengo corazón, que tengo esas experiencias, que tengo entendimiento. I can easily connect and understand and can be compassionate with those individuals that are going through it or that have been through it. You know what I mean?
And that's because they serve you for whatever the reason why they still taught you those things, those experiences. Even it might have been not the best thing, but you still learned that from them.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So
let's backtrack a little bit. So you were actually in a lot of activities earlier in your time, in your life. You were into dancing, ballet. You were into the band as well. Yeah. Did you like doing all that stuff, or did they just put you with something to do?
Okay, so, and this is crazy because I don't remember when, but not too long ago. I love dancing. I just love dancing. And your purpose is always connected with you from the beginning of time. So I remember being in Head Start.
Oh, really? So you're a brainiac, super smart over here.
Listen, I don't... somewhat.
You're brilliant. You're brilliant.
But the ballet and the tapping, I don't believe I don't think that's something they decided to put me into. I don't remember.
Something that you liked?
Oh, I loved it. I loved tapping until I slipped and fell really hard, and I was like, ahí valió. But ballet, I loved it. It wasn't till we moved and relocated that ended. So I was really broken by it because I loved it. I loved it. I remember being very free, very expressive. So I loved it for that reason. Band, that's something I decided to do.
The oboe you played, right?
Oboe, yes. That's something I decided to do. And it's more with my connection with music. I don't know, something about music makes me feel good. So
yeah, music is awesome. Music is great, and dancing is great too. Okay, let's touch up on the modeling part. So you're known for modeling too, in lowrider scene. You've been in the covers. Actually, you have something for me.
See,
she brought me gifts. I'm not saying all you have to bring gifts, but so this is you. We'll touch up a little bit on the picture and more things, but she's actually in the cover of Amps magazine. Zoom in, Carlos. Look at that. This is her right there. Quick break to let you know, thank you very much for being here. We appreciate it. I know you know that it helps us whenever you subscribe. Hit the like button and comment. Help us out. We appreciate it very much. And now back to the episode. And they doing a little bit of the modeling, but also the dancing, the fan dancing, fire fan dancing. That's pretty cool. It look awesome.
Gracias.
I love it. You don't have to bring me gifts, but I'll have to get a pen so you can autograph for me.
Ay, okay.
And look, there's more. Look at that. I do have to have it signed.
Mira, si me peiné, me arreglé, me maquillé.
Look at that. No, you look great. Anyways, this is her. So how did the modeling come to be? I can always kind of guess maybe a little bit because there's been a little bit pattern of some girls. Was it Joe? Did Joe find you or did you find him? Or you started way separately as far as modeling?
So actually when I used to bar manage at Zona Rosa.
Zona Rosa back in the days.
Back in the wild days.
Hey, what's so funny? We have the pink lights in the back. Ain't that funny?
Oh my God. Yes.
So you're a bar manager at a gentleman's club, and it used to be Zona Rosa in Dallas. It's not there no more. It's like some kind of poker place or something like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you used to do that, and then.
Actually, I didn't start with Joe.
Mm-hmm.
I started with Frankie Hernandez or Switch and Spider. And that's how I started.
But how was the conversation for you to go and do modeling? How did that go?
Well, I know it was through Frank.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't really pinpoint it because it was a very, very, very long time. But point of it is that he started getting me to go to shows, and to be very frank, yo no sabía lo que estaba haciendo, pero bueno.
Do you remember your first time? La primera vez que fuiste?
La primera
Very
vez.
first time.
No recuerdo. My memory.
It's all good.
But I didn't have anyone like tell me what to do.
How to strike a pose, how to stand, how to look at the camera, none of that?
None of that, no. And actually, I'm not going to lie. I don't want to say this, but back then I was very inexperienced. Mm-hmm. So cuando modelaba, yo estaba como más entre el medio desmadre, a little bit lit, taking pictures. So that's not, looking at it now, I'm like, okay, I grew from this.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but that's how I started.
So,
and that was
do you remember it was a car show?
Yeah, it was nothing but car shows.
So 2002, vaguely remember that you were there, but you did your first one, and you might have been or not a little bit lit to help you relax. Is that because just to help you relax?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So was it nerve-wracking, I imagine?
A whole bunch of people I didn't know. I'm like, oh, there's cameras. I'm like, oh, and I'm supposed to look pretty. I'm like, oh, this is too much. This was the old me.
Yeah. So when did it become for you more serious as far as like taking it more serious? And because I know you travel, you've been to different places. And when did it become more serious for you that you were like, you want to make sure you get the crafting of the modeling better, and you want to know what you're doing. You want to know how to pose. You want to know how to do this.
When I met Joe, I was introduced more into like, cause Joe, hey, shout out to Joe Arenas. I love you. Pero él era el que más me comenzó a entrenar, a decir, oh, like, your feet, your posture, so that the cameras, the different looks, because I used to just kind of have like this mean mugging look. He's like, no, like smile, do the different faces. I naturally talk with my eyes, so that was the easy part. But in the modeling, I was more in and out, and a lot of it. Dos veces me junté seriamente. Y cuando me había juntado, it was like I couldn't really be in the scene because.
So you were 2 times you were in relationships and you had to bounce out of doing the modeling because you couldn't be doing that.
I felt.
Did you miss it, or did you do it just because you were in a relationship and they were not gonna like it, or?
I was more concerned with them being insecure, and it wasn't. To both times, because relationships can be on and off. So it wasn't until like cuando me había separado that I got back into the scene. And cuando me junté para atrás, era like, all right, I'm coming with this. So I don't care what you got to say. I'm going to do this. So you're either with it or you're not. But that's what it was. But it wasn't until, I want to say, when? I want to say this very last time in 2021, cuando me encontré con Aldo y Mandy. And it was before the AZ show that we decided to go. But I'll be very frank, my mind was elsewhere just because life was crazy for me. And it was very random. But, after that show, things just started being more constant, and I just started just really going from there. But this time it was more, I had a more, ¿cómo te puedo explicar? More of a
more stability in your life, maybe, or direction towards where you wanted to do. Okay.
Direction. It was more of a direction with it, definitely.
So the direction now for you, as far as the modeling, which way it is, what direction is it that you would say?
Modeling wise, I mean, it's there. I'm open to it, but it's not a main focus for me at the moment. I feel like it was a major stepping stone for me because it helped me. It helped me grow and be more comfortable around the scenery. So that was more like a training for me. But honestly, with the modeling, I'm not, like, if it's there, I don't mind it. Pero lo que tengo más en mente is, mi arte, my art, which right now I'm focusing on anything that feels good, which I'm not saying modeling doesn't feel good, because I'm always surprised, I'll be honest, I don't realize my outside avatar until some of these images pop up, and I'm like, whoa, that's me. But
I see some amazing pictures. They're really good.
Thank you. Pero ahora más es lo que yo me estoy enfocando más, y especialmente in my healing journey is, I wish I would have been better guided with life and all the chaos and trials and tribulations and all my confusion that I had to clear out on my own. And it's a work in process. I'm still doing it. But, the fire dancing for me is very, it allows me to express myself much more than words can say for me,
So the fire dancing started about 3 or 4 years old. You were kind of introduced to it, but later a friend of yours, Erin, she was playing with her oppies.
Poi.
Poi.
She's the one that, through her, I first witnessed this, and I was
okay.
Oh, this is nice.
So did she let you play with the pois at that time?
I never grabbed them.
Never.
So it's like a string. It's like, let's say, like a yo-yo.
Yeah.
That doesn't go up. That's lit in fire. So you have to have like special geo.
I had a fire. She's actually a metal, death metal vocalist and metal artist, but she also does the fire with those things. So it looks crazy to me that she does that, and she's little bitty too, and it's trippy to me that she does it. So by 2018, so you were introduced to the fire. It felt very natural to you just to be with the element, and then in 2018. It's kind of sort of when you buy your own fans. Where the idea of the fans themselves come from?
Well, number one, I was not gonna light up no poise with no fire, because I'm like, no, ya valió. No.
So you feel like you needed more control with the fans? You had more control for you?
Yes.
Okay. So you just randomly bought them? Have you been pondering for a little while to get them, or how did it happen?
Just
bought them?
Yeah.
Sporadically, I just spontaneous, just buy me some fans.
Yeah.
And then you lit them up. And that's it.
Yeah. I mean, people, I mean, I don't listen to the naysayers, and people's fears, that's y'all's problem. That's not mine, and I'm not going to make it mine. But honestly, el fuego, como yo lo miro, te respeta igual como tú lo respetas. Y a mí, gracias a Dios, well, there's been 2 times, but they were very minor, that I got burnt, but they were very, very minor. But other than that, the fire's not going to burn you. You know, you see where the fire's at. As long as there's no crazy wind, as long as, you'll be fine. But, the fire, like, it's hard to explain, but...
Do you have to have certification to do that particular dancing with the fans or not? Do you? Or you don't?
Yeah.
Do you have it? La de allá arriba.
La de allá arriba.
Okay, so I get you. Okay, so there's something interesting you said on the article of Amps, that you were saying that my fire, and I thought it was pretty interesting that you called it like it was yours, like for you. Why do you feel that? You wanted to call it, or it is yours? Because you're right. I think with everything, if you don't respect it and give it its respect, and you could get burned or anything else. So why do you want to phrase it as your fire?
Because it ignites what's already in me, and I am fire, I am earth, I am water, and I am air, just like you are. But fire for me is, I am, it's my fire.
And then I also read that it's a little bit of, at that time when you grabbed it, it was, you had a lot of things going on. There was a lot of energy that you needed. You have excess energy. You needed a way to relieve it. And you found therapy within doing that. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I feel like, maybe the sound, because when I light them, it sounds, this sounds like that. Like, they are loud. That the visualization of seeing the huge flames, the smoke, all that. So when I see that, I'm literally like, cualquier emoción que tenga yo, whatever anger, whatever sadness, whatever I'm unable to express or to even yell out, when it's me and my fire, it's like, me estás haciendo un favor, me estás ayudando, estás conmigo, like me estás, like I see myself. Okay, hold on. I need to word this the right way, but when I see my flames, it's like I see myself. I can be as beautiful as this flame, and I can be as destructive as this flame. I can be as medicinal as this flame. This is my fire. This is me, No,
you good. I get it. I mean, I wouldn't be able to get it because I never done it before, but I know there's other ways for me to get, like for me, I like meditate and I like to be quiet and be in peace and just chill. And I don't working out maybe a little bit, but not too much of releasing anything. It's mostly just meditating, and that gives me anything. I don't never dab with the elements as far as water, being in the water and things like that. I just like to be maybe with the air because I understand breathing more, so that's appreciated. But you also wanted to clarify something as far as the people that think when you see you dancing that it's something else. It's like a misconception of what you're doing.
So I've gotten several times que if it's a ritual, I'm like, what? Just because I'm dancing with fire? I mean, I don't know what it is that they think, or, los pensamientos que, son llamas del demonio y esto. Bro, like, I mean, if that's what you think, I mean, that's a reflection of yourself, dude, but...
So for you like the art because you combine it with dancing, a little bit of ballet dancing, a little bit of not tap dancing, but ballet.
Yeah.
And mix in with the fire, and you just like the way it looks. And it takes a lot of concentration because the other day I was on one of those little little medicine balls or half balls, and I was doing something and I lost focus for a second and I fell. And I never fell before in the gym, but I was like, somebody was passing by and I took my eye out of concentrating on what I was doing, and I just to look for a second, and he threw me off and I fell down. So it's the same thing with the fire. You have to be super focused. You can't even like a split second take your focus on it so you definitely got to be present at that moment if you haven't been.
Let me tell you, for one of my fire shoots, si no estoy presente, si no estoy despierta, because my downfall is that I'm always doing like 10 things at once. So that interferes sometimes with my rest, okay? So for that shoot, I wasn't completely well rested. So I was possibly like on my third dream as I was like lighting my torches.
Ouch.
And where I had messed up and I didn't realize is that I didn't wipe my hands and I didn't wipe the metal part of my torches out. So, and mind you, when I first light my torches, las llamas están así. And they're hot.
Yeah.
And they're loud. And it's just not one. It's like a whole button, it's like 5 of them.
Yeah.
So
you can see right here. Look, there's one of the fans, and all these are on fire.
So when I lit them up, it's just, I'm like, no te limpiates las manos, no limpiates the fans, and las llamas were, and I felt like my hands were about to catch. So I was like, normally it's easy for me to handle my flames because you have to handle them.
Yeah.
But at that point, it was like me and the flames were like kind of clashing. So the good thing, is that I'm very specific where I perform.
Mm-hmm.
The good thing was that era puro concrete. So I just threw my fans and I'm like, hold on. I'm like,
had to reset.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. I'm sorry, I wasn't going about my procedure. I'm like, okay. Y después de ahí, but definitely I have to be very mindful.
Yeah.
I have to be very mindful even with whatever, like I can't put no lotions, no oils, no perfumes.
Your hair?
No hairspray. As long as there's not a lot of wind, I'm good because I don't really move my hair that much. Mm-hmm. So it's fine.
That's crazy.
I mean, maybe it shouldn't be fine, but, hey, I mean.
You had short hair before, no? I'm not.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm kidding.
I mean, 2023, just a little weird.
I'm kidding. But it's crazy that, it's crazy because I've seen some of the videos you did. Actually, you're part of Erratic ENT with Aldo and Mandy Red. And you've done a dancing video for her for Calentura, which was pretty cool too. And the whole video is like 3-something minutes, and the whole time you're going at it. It was, I don't know if it was, I didn't see that there was any edits that they were using the same footage, but I think you were going at it for a minute. How long would that shoot take, and how long were you doing that? It had to be a little while.
Llegamos a las 5:30 de la mañana.
A.M.? Jeez.
A las 5:30, yes, because we had to catch that sunrise shoot. So it was 5:30 de la mañana y terminamos a las 9.
PM or 9:30?
De la mañana.
Hey, so that's...
So the next day, man, that was a whole workout. The next day, I was like stuck in bed.
Are they heavy?
What?
Those fans?
No, I don't think they're heavy.
You don't think they're heavy anymore?
No, they're not heavy at all, but you do have to have strength in your hand because...
Why are you looking at my biceps? Girl, I'll be working out.
Oh.
I'm like, look at them beauty arms. You don't got what it takes to lift them. No, I do. I got them if I wanted to.
But you definitely need a lot of strength and stamina to keep going.
You got a lot of core too.
Yeah. So
that's crazy. So do you work out regularly too?
I hate working out.
Why?
Well, I mean, I only work out when I dance, to be honest.
See, but those are workouts too. Yeah. Technically, you're getting your heartbeat up. So it might not be lifting at the gym, but it's a form of workout. It's better than not doing anything.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. And I'm pretty sure dancing is like, I don't know exactly what the statistics are, but I'm pretty sure it's a big workout. It's a good workout. So yeah. Okay, so you had mentioned something about the dark side of modeling, or the darker side that people don't talk about. What are some of the things that happen that some of you girls have to go to, some of you women have to go through as far as the modeling that is not really talked about or prefer not to be said because of whatever reason?
Well, so for example, now I'm not gonna speak for everyone, but I have gotten like a few comments. People, I guess, have a misconception that I don't like to even say the word models. I don't like that word.
Which one?
Models.
You don't like that word?
I don't like that word.
What is the preferred word that you like?
I haven't found it yet, but let's just use it, right? Nomás porque miran una cara bonita o un cuerpo bonito, dicen, ellas han de tener una vida perfecta. Ellos que saben de problemas, or, I'm like, and I be getting very confused because I'm like, hold on, like, we have a life too. We experience life too. It's not just the makeup, the hair, whatever. No, we go through it, but it's like a lot of people just dismiss it like, well, you don't know anything. You don't know the struggle. You don't know this. You don't. I'm like, how is it that you do know that I don't experience none of this? That, again, I feel like a lot of people think it's just given, and it's not given. It's not given. Mandy and I, we have this quote. Well, not quote, but she introduced me to it, and it's the 10K hours. We've placed 10K hours, so to speak.
For mastery.
And with that comes a lot. It comes a lot of closed doors. It comes a lot of reroutes. Some people give up con el primer no.
Yeah.
Pero ¿dónde está tu pasión? Where's your loyalty with your dreams? Where's your loyalty with your vision? And even through the journey, I've had multiple times I wanted to give up.
You have a few relationships that kept you from continuing to.
That put a pause on it,
yeah.
That, and some of us, well, I mean, I'll speak for myself. Like I mentioned, like Aldo, I work a lot with Aldo Emmanuel.
Shout out to the homie. He was here. We did an episode with him too. Yeah.
I see.
I had the whole erotic ENT. I think it's only 3 of y'all so far. So anybody else, bring them over.
Hey. But even like whenever like he shoots and we start viewing these images, antes de mirar esos imágenes, like at least how I live, I don't even realize, I guess, how beautiful I am, how radiant I am. And I feel like it's because of my, my dark experiences, my emotions and all that. And when I see these images, I'm always shocked. I'm like, so yo?
Yeah.
Like, is this really me? So with this, it has, not everyone knows how beautiful we are inside and out until it's like shown to us, but yet people have this perspective like, oh, tú eres así, te cargas así. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm not.
Yeah. So do you think it's still part of one of your battles as far as healing, that you don't see the alignment that based on who you are, based on the work you're done, that image should be somewhat of reflection of it. You shouldn't be surprised of seeing that, because you know what you've been and what you put yourself through, the healing that you're done. So it should equate, right? It shouldn't be a surprising for you.
I'm a working process, and you know, even with the healing, you will feel better at some points in your life about certain things. You will feel better, but there's layers to healing. It's like, también like the dark hole. There's, it can go really, 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 really down, and to the depths of that, you will never know. So, I am currently working on my self-love, and I want to say not too long ago, life got really interesting, and not a nice way, in a very, very challenging multiple ways, to where I was so close to like just throwing my towel because of how intense and how ugly everything was getting for me. And I seen my, little Emma, my little inner child. And honestly, I'm currently working with her because she popped up and she was like, "This is your dream. What are you doing?" Like, this, the little girl in me was talking to me. It's like, "This is what I've always wanted. And now you are there. You're, fast forward, like you are there. ¿Por qué me vas a impedir algo que yo siempre he querido desde niña?" O sea, me talking to me. So I'm now like, right now, everything that I think, that I do, or even my interactions with people, what I allow, what I don't allow, is I have to protect that little girl, and I have to put her first. So cualquier sueño que ella quiso desde niña, you know what? I'm loyal to you and I'm loyal to my dreams. We're going to make this happen. Someone talks to me sideways, would I allow anyone to hurt my little girl? No. I don't have to engage. But you know what? Dismissed. Little Emma, you don't have to go through that. You're good. You're safe. I got you. I got us. So that's where I am right now. My self-love and really putting my little, inner child first.
And that's the dream of the dancing and everything else that you've been doing, or what specifically is the dream, if you don't mind?
Just being happy. As a little girl, I've always been very hopeful. I've always been naturally a leader, I guess. So with that being said, to make my little inner child proud of me, which would be my documentary.
The Holy Grail.
The Holy Grail.
You're still working on that, and that's part of the things that you're going to be included in?
Part of that is I wished as a little girl I had guidance or somewhat of an idea,
So without giving too much about the documentary itself would be some kind of guidance for little girls or somebody that's going through some stuff that might be able to help them?
It would be, there's a little bit for everyone in general. And it's like, cuando las cosas suceden, we get stuck in the chaos because we are in the chaos rather than being the observer and seeing the different options and really being open to the different options that there is. But because we are unaware, that we allow ourselves to be caged in certain scenarios and certain patterns, it's like you have to distinguish them. And even whether it be with addictions, a lifestyle, even with abusive relationships, or you being a victim to, the uncalled for things that tend to happen in life, is like, hold on and stand still. like breathe, you know, don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt your well-being. Don't go being destructive to you or to anyone else. Don't hurt anyone because of your pain. You know, there are options. And even if you feel like there's no way out, there really is. And it's possible. You know, sometimes you got to battle. You got to battle to your belief systems. Sometimes you have to challenge to yourself to other things, the unknown. You know, it's always the unknown that we're a little iffy about.
Scared of the unknown because we don't know. Because we're accustomed to everything that we know.
Exactly. You know? But that's how patterns continue.
I like the thing that you were saying that made me reflect back on whenever you're going through chaos. Because I was in the military, so I never realized that looking like back now, it makes a lot of sense as to sometimes whenever there's chaos, I really don't, for me, I don't crumble. I don't get crazy about it. Just look at everything that's going on real slowly and don't get too caught up on it. I realized. And then I think it's just about just growing in general. That you just realize it's just the happenings within this life. There's really things like there's other people that are going through crazier stuff, Ukraine and all kinds of other stuff here. You might have little stuff that you really don't deal with. And the only reason why you're giving it too much thought is because you are fed. You're not missing a meal. Your tummy is full. And that's why you give it more of attention than anything, because, you know, you have everything provided to you. And then it's morely of, a lot of the times for us, is more of simpler things, not really traumatic things, but we make it traumatic because if we feel like that's the case. Like there's people losing people every day. Like I wake up sometimes and I really think, without thinking about anything else, I'm like, damn, there's a lot of people that didn't wake up today, and here I am. I got to open my eyes today. And that stuff, sometimes we don't really realize that. And everything else is like, it's life happenings. It's things that literally everyday people are dealing with. Nothing out of the ordinary, you're done. And then sometimes it takes me back to the things that I've done that was really hard. And I realize, look what you have done before. Like, calm down. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
Chill. So I really like, are you projecting the Holy Grail to be ready, or when are you going to be dropping it here anytime soon?
I'm hoping that towards the end of the year, we're done with it.
Mm-hmm. So you got everything, all the footage and everything that you were doing, and it's going to be like an actual documentary of your life, or?
Now, because there's some very delicate information, I'm kind of going back and forth with myself. Like, do I want to label it a documentary? Because, you know, there's going to be a little bit of everything in there. Mm-hmm. So, no quiero problemas. So I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna have Robert Parson, how you doing? Help me with that part, because I'm a little.
And is that because there's footage of other people involved, or is that just because?
I mean, I'm going to be using other actors, but it's just what's in there. I don't want no problems, you know?
So it might be defamation type of issues, or what is the main concern about?
You know, there's a little bit of everything. There's no quiero decir, but there's, you know, there's just a little bit of everything.
I think there's a lot of power in sharing. I know that you don't want to say too much, and I think you take a lot after your father as far as not wanting to share it. I think it's actually done and everything. I just feel like if people would understand the things that will be there a little bit, not everything, they would be more enticed to, maybe curious to look at it, and maybe it'll be beneficial for them.
So there's definitely, you know, sexual assaultment is there. The street life is there. Anything that regards to the street life, whether being involved in it or out of it. Heavy activity in that. Strip club scenes, health scenes, It's just a little bit of everything.
So the documentary is more for a more mature audience, and because it's real life of the things that you have experienced, not necessarily cookie cut and very PG, and it's not for that particular audience.
Yeah, it's not for...
And because of it, you want to make sure that it's done correctly, rated correctly, to where you release it. There's no problems with people coming and getting you like, what are you doing with this type of footage? It's not that.
It's more like I don't need any legal problems.
And also, if it's in regards to street stuff,
yes,
then you don't want any repercussions for putting people's business out there that might get caught up or in trouble or anything like that.
People's or minds. Let's just leave it a mystery. But it's something along those lines.
Okay. That's awesome. All right, we're running short on time, are we? Where we at? Okay, we're running short on time, so I appreciate you very much. A couple more questions before I let you go. We touched up on a lot. You got a lot more, by the way, that we didn't touch up, but it's awesome. I appreciate you sharing what you have. I can't wait for the documentary. Any events you have? You actually have an event Sunday, but it's gonna be.
Oh my God!
It's gonna be after. We're gonna be releasing the episode after
Monday.
Yeah.
See.
So you're having a Memorial Day. Is it a car show? Is it a performance? What is it?
Okay. So Mandy and the Calentura Mamis, which I'm one of them, we're going to be performing for the All-Star Awards.
Something like that. I seen something about the music award, something like that.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah.
In San Antonio.
San Antonio. So you're gonna be heading to San Antonio. You're gonna be over there, and you're gonna be dancing, performing with Mandy.
See.
It's awesome. Okay. What other stuff you have going on coming up? Of course, the Holy Grail. Be on the lookout for you. Either going to be a documentary or something along those lines.
Yes. And as right now, with AMPS, Indiana Expo, I'm going to be out there. I believe it's sometime mid-July.
You're heavy with that right now, aren't you?
See.
You're working a lot.
Oh, right? Yes. And
that's awesome.
Great stuff.
And anything else you have going on? Any other magazines that you've been published before? You have AMPS here. Any other one?
That I've been published.
That you're going to be published or coming for any other magazine? Or?
Not that I'm aware of yet.
Okay, that's cool.
Keyword, yeah.
And any shout outs? You have any shout outs?
Yes, Erratic ENT, Mandy, Aldo Manuel, Francis Cherie, Tommy, Connie, hi Connie, Joe Arenas. This caught me by surprise.
You good? There's a lot more people, but those are the ones that come to mind first. But you're not less important. I put her on the spot. Okay, so what is one lesson that you learned doing the modeling, the dancing, or everything that you do that you would tell your younger self that somebody else would take something away and then would learn something?
Well, I have two things. Don't listen to the naysayers. That's a huge negative, and just stay loyal to your dreams. Stay loyal. That's it.
Awesome. And another question I have, usually when I wake up, this one's a little deeper. I wake up something like that, or throughout my day, or at least I remind myself, I'm not immortal. I am mortal, and I will die one day. And that's just not to scare me or freak me out or whatever, but to realize that even though I'm living this experience, it's not going to be forever. As much as I want it, it's not. And it makes me put urgency on the things that I need to do. With that, with everything said and done with this physical part of your being, I wish you a long, prosperous life. However, after that, what do you hope people to feel or think about your life?
Triunfadora.
Triumphant. Yeah.
Luchadora.
Luchadora. Fighter.
No matter what. I don't know another life than that itself. So.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, so we're going to wrap it up. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. I mean, I know that there's a lot more that you've gone through, and I appreciate as much as you are able to share and be okay with sharing that part. As I mentioned earlier, I think there's a lot of power of in sharing your story, because other people that might not be going through the same thing might be able to know that there's other people that are going through it and have passed that and are continuing to do whatever it is that they're doing, right? So I appreciate it very much. As far as everything that you've done, where you came from, and the struggles of not thinking that maybe one night, you might not even make it through and you still being here and continue to do your thing is amazing to me. And the fact that, with this documentary, with everything you do, magazines and traveling, I know that you're getting a big audience, and I hope here somebody can see your story and be able to be inspired globally. So, Emma, without a doubt, you are definitely a global Latin factor. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it.
Por esta oportunidad.
Thank you very much. This was another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast. Remember to subscribe. And also remember, we are just like you. We are people. We are humans. We are the spice in this melting pot that it is the world. Till next time. Thank you. Thank you very much for checking out another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. It helps us a lot. You're already here, so give us a like, give us a subscribe, and give us a comment. We appreciate you very much. Thank you.
What is del Avigo? Walks like a pedo, but in fact is a flamingo. Coming to Havana, Henry from Puerto Rico. On a pirate ship, he don't know where do we go. The birds of